capacity is not fun.
Push mower?
Yeah, don't say.
Push mower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah, it's
functioning
never
push
fun.
mower.
Yeah.
You have to mow the lawn with one of those rotating blades. Kind of pushed it.
Yeesh.
This is a motored one, but it doesn't function that well anymore. So the motor just spins the blade and doesn't actually help you push it. So it's very fucking heavy.
I mean, I guess for you, yeah. You probably weigh as much as a mower.
It weighs more than me.
Yeah.
Hello, Max.
So, so Max.
Oh boy.
All right. Let me hear it.
So, my stepsister was making some sauce vodka today.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw me going in the direction of the bar and basement. Playing currently. And she hands off a bottle of vodka to me and says, "Hey, can you go put this in the bar?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then my dad was walking by as I'm walking to the bar/basement. And he goes, "Oh, I can take this to the bar." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And I just start going down to the basement. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you should have thought of that."
Based.
You take this bottle of vodka. Okay,
Here, hold this.
thank you.
That was a mistake.
Uh-oh. Sneaky has obtained alcohol.
That's
Run.
what we call a mistake in the business.
Indeed.
Yeah. What's called a certified bro moment.
That's not too much of a bra moment, though. Like that kind of thing. Like, yeah, I kind of saw that.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do that story tonight. Yeah, so yeah, my family, that's what I'm like, oh, wait, what? I'm like, so I'm like, to my dad, I'm like, so you kind of need to, like, we're doing pasta tonight. Like, get a bowl for me, but, like, all over it. Like, why? What's going on? I'm like, I'm doing my podcast? Like, what? I'm like, 7 o'clock on a Friday. I've done this for 5 years now, Father.
Hasn't gone anywhere, but I've been
This is a
consistent.
recent development.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys should be glad that the Percy Jackson stories I've been reading are all stories that I've decided not to put on the podcast. They're just like that. Like, it's not like, oh,
Yeah.
you guys wouldn't enjoy it, we couldn't get any laughs out of it. They're just bad. They're like boring. And it's just so bland.
I asked Percy Jackson. This is
You
my surprised
literally
face.
Came like 2 days ago. Oh, when we were doing the
Yeah, that's the shit I was
Laris,
reading, yeah.
and you just
Okay, honestly, honestly, that story, the one I was reading to you guys, the last one I was reading to you guys, I actually finished that, and I'm like,
How?
it's not that, the swag is actually on par. It's like, almost no spelling or grammar errors at all. And the overall plot isn't bad, and all of the tropes are handled okay, but it's just like, I mean, it's dead. That's all.
Well, yeah.
But I was just
So
like,
surprising.
it's like nothing special. I wouldn't be like, oh man, I would definitely recommend this to people at all. I would be like,
It exists, I suppose.
yeah, too much. Yeah, so reviews. It didn't unmute. There we go. We're live. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9004 with your classic host, Sneaky fucking Devil.
He didn't say the line. Okay.
What? What line?
Hello, internet.
Oh, well, you know, sometimes I gotta change up my openings.
I suppose.
It
It just feels wrong, though.
Yeah, it feels wrong. So, here we go. Percy Jackson and the game. So, we're not going to be covering this one. I just wanted to read my review for this so you guys could understand how baffled and how much I hate it. Yeah?
Sure. Go on.
And, yeah, so yeah, that summarizes it. Wait, why did I close that one out? Which one is it? Right, so I'll hit this button here and the screen will display the thing I want it to display. Excellent. I love it when it does the things I want it to do. Alright, let's get started, internet. So, two stories I read recently in my attempt to find new stuff to read and to avoid my responsibilities of writing. So the one's called Percy Jackson and the Game. This is one of, if not the most popular story in the PJO section.
Epic.
You'll see why I think it's dumb in a second. And then there was Everlasting Promises. How did 6,000 people think this story was ever possibly okay? The spelling and grammar on this story is so absolutely atrocious, it looks like you never paid attention in a single English class in your life.
Hey, Sneaky, you already have a bot.
I already have a bot? Wow, amazing. I'm actually kind of impressed that they,
Yeah, they're on point, my guy.
Yeah, it's, how do I ban someone again? What button do I... Oh, right here, the little down here thing. No, don't mod them, ban them. Why is the mod button and the ban button right fucking next to each other?
I don't know, but I'm glad I got to the ban button first because we might have had a new mod.
Ah yes, everyone's favorite new mod, Dufta 34. Big follow. Oh god.
Yeah, so this is Everlasting Promises. Percy, betrayed by who he thought was his soulmate, this is a very common trope. Unfortunately, because the whole, like, soulmate thing kinda is canon.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Rick Jordan, you fucking hack.
Yeah. Also, he made Nico gay, and I don't know why he made Nico gay. He just did.
I mean,
it was just really
sometimes
weird.
it just be like that, I guess.
Takes a daring act and swears himself to the oldest primordial. Now he has to deal with the consequences, good and bad. Eventually, Percy times Artemis. So that's another thing I would like to mention. That's one of the most popular pairings in this section is Percy times Artemis. Now,
why?
Don't get me wrong. I actually enjoy it, not for the same reasons that the other people do. I enjoy it because usually, actually, you know what? They might be the same reasons that the people enjoy it. I enjoy it because Artemis gets shit on a lot, and I think it's funny.
Alright. Interesting fetish, but okay.
There was no scat involved. Fuck off, Kiara.
Fuck. You got me. I am a chicken.
The first part is going to be blah, blah, blah. No one really cares. I've seen lots of chaos. This is the best part of the Rayan, by the way. I've seen lots of chaos-involved stories, and they're all getting cliched, he says, writing the most cliched chaos story.
Yeah.
Of course, some in mine are going to be cliche, but I'm also trying to make different as possible. Oh, and to those Perkabeth lovers, this is Perk Artemis fanfic. You got that? It's Percy times Artemis, So, Pertartemis, enjoy. Just want to tell you, the chaos and stuff won't come early. I want to build up connecting story. At least try to. This is my first time, so I don't know if it'll fail or succeed. Reminder, 6,000 people have favorited this story. 4,900 reviews were left.
Yeah.
This is 3 books over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not gonna read it, but if anyone can look at this, it's just so bad. You owe me more than that, Kelphead! End quotes! Exclamation point! Said Thalia, period!
Oh no.
You know, I wonder what the inside of a gun barrel looks like.
I still get reminded, every time you make jokes like that, Arn, I'm still reminded of the comment I left on JDF's Space Battles fanfic. I know there's supposed to be a light at the end of the tunnel, but I didn't think it was going to be a muzzle flash.
Yeah. Gun Jesus. I am the way and the light. Except occasionally the light is muzzle flash. Yeah.
And then they have some really cringe-ass banter that no one cares about, right?
What Pertimis story would be complete without some cringe-ass banter?
And then then there's the literal paragraph of people doing back and forth dialogue that they just, like earlier here, they remembered that you're supposed to put spacing in between dialogues. They just forgot that here.
That's great. Excellent.
This is physically painful.
Just 3 paragraphs of this, of just like, hey, what if we just put all the dialogue into one paragraph? It's like,
Yes.
Suddenly, all around us, at least 500 Earthborn flew out of the ground.
Ah, yes, 500.
It's just really bad. It was really freaking cringe, and it's just like, and then that's it. That's the chapter. It was just a bunch of cringe-ass dialogue, and then Artemis is like, "Oh my God, Percy Jackson saved me again. Man, I love him." And that's how the chapter ends. So that was 6,000. This is 11,714 favorites. 10,595 reviews. 8 books were written. It took him 2 years to do this. Just keep all these stats in mind when I get through this story. Boring dialogue. Boring narrative. The narrative itself says the narrative is boring. I am not even lying.
Yeah.
And then there's this entire first section. This entire first section is just Percy just sitting there being like, Mr. Bruner, why are you teaching us about the Greeks? They're all dead. We don't need to learn about dead gods. And Mr. Bruner's like, oh, Percy, you might not realize this, but they might not be as dead as you think. And then Percy's like, what are a bunch of gods gonna do to me? They don't exist. Obviously, the entire scene hinges on the fact that the audience knows that the gods do in fact exist.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is completely, not only completely pointless, but dumb.
Yeah.
Also, the author makes Percy say probably one of the most suspicious lines possible. Come on, Mr. Brunner. It's not like the Greek gods have power in the modern world.
You have raised the flag.
It's like he's now admitting that the gods are real, but that they, for some reason, inexplicably don't have power in the modern world. He's like, yeah, Max, I believe God is real, except I don't think in this modern age he has power anymore.
Okay. So does that mean I get the $100 from the bet?
I don't know, does it?
I mean, you're saying he's real.
I don't know.
Power or no power?
No,
we never made that bet.
Here. But like that wording is just so weird for someone who like 10 seconds ago was like, the gods are gone and dead, and then he's like, they don't have power in the modern age, at least. It's like, what? What?
Yeah, that's very. It's an immediate contradiction.
It's a very specific immediate contradiction. It's
interesting
like,
leading statement you got there.
Like I said, the entire humor of this entire scene is entirely based off of the fact that we as the audience know something the characters don't.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cringe. And then the Fates were like, oh man, a 7-year-old child has challenged us. Let's go fuck up his life.
Okay, to be fair, they're Greek. All right, these are. These are Greek legends. It would do that.
Wrong.
Yeah, the Greeks are into fucking 7-year-old boys. That's
you know what?
Fair enough.
This story could recover if the next scene is Zeus just lightning summons himself into the kids' room. It's like, so I heard you talking shit.
Lol, Lamau.
Lol, said Zeus as the car imploded. Lamau, said Zeus as the house caught fire.
Yeah.
And so the Fates are like, alright, Percy Jackson is the chosen one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fuck him over by giving him a blessing. A blessing so powerful that he'll have no choice but to be eternally loyal to the Fates, us, in exchange.
That is fucking retarded.
And so they decide to give him a video game power.
You know...
Yeah, of course.
Okay, again, Greek myth, a lot of fucked up stuff, but even the gods were like, we're not gonna just give you power without adding a condition. And we'll at least tell you the condition.
Yeah.
But they don't just hand it out, because if they just hand it out, there's not a guarantee they can take it back.
So anyway, Percy gets hit with the Powerball beam, and he's like, okay. And then he goes to sleep, and then he wakes up, and then he stubs his toe. And he gets, ping, skill created, physical endurance, level 1. Your body's durability is increased. Except from stubbing his toe.
Damn. What an original joke.
And then Percy goes, what the hell is going on? Am I God? Yeah, Percy, you woke up with a video game power. Surprise! You're the Christian God.
I mean, it's very simple. I have the power of God and anime on my side.
So speaking of which, I've further fleshed out that DXDSI idea.
Oh yeah, that's just fucking great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the power of anime and memes on my side.
Fair enough.
It's just gonna be dumb. I'm not gonna take it remotely seriously.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then an idea struck him. It sounded crazy. Percy, you just asked if you were God. You can literally only de-escalate from that point.
Like, am I wrong?
You're not.
Yeah, no.
But then again, he did just see floating boxes in front of him. What if reality was a game and he's in the Matrix? Was he the one?
God fucking damn it.
Is this real life or is it all just fantasy?
Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
Caught in a landslide, rocks full, you die.
Oh god.
There was only one way to find out. Percy said status. Why would that do anything? Like, that is just like, we're just like, oh man, I just had a skill box show up in front of me. Am I in the Matrix? Status! What? What? Why would you go from, am I in the Matrix to, I'm just gonna shout out the word status and hope something appears in front of me?
You know, I feel like they'd have had an easier time in the Matrix if they could just do that.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, status, oh shit, my health is low.
Why am I taking damage over time?
Oh shit, that's a bullet wound.
I'm sorry,
Oops.
their max HP is what?
Gee. Enemy status. Agent Smith in the last movie. Oh. Well, that's a problem.
Unfortunate.
There was only one way. A brown box appeared in front of him and told him that all of his stats were 1.
Uh-oh. Ah, yes, that makes sense.
So, I do want to talk about these stats when you're doing, like, just in general, like, not only like writing, but also, you know, mangas and animes, obviously, because obviously in games you have a little bit more of a direct, you know, way of showing that when your stats increase, so does your damage and etc.
You have control.
But when you're in a scenario in which the person cannot interact with these information being displayed to them, and I don't mean the characters, I mean you, the reader, the watcher, whether that's a game, a movie, not game, a movie, you know, manga, anime, book. Putting these arbitrary stats in do nothing. They don't mean anything to anyone.
Oh, good. It's arbitrary stat time.
Yeah, it's arbitrary stat time. The Fallout stats are actually a better representation to people in their brains about what they mean. Because if your number goes from 1 to weakest, at 10 is strongest, and you are a 6, people go, oh, I understand what that means. You're kind of strong, but only a little bit above average.
Well, and here's the other thing that's important. You can put in whatever numbers you want as long as you establish, like, a clear baseline. Like, D&D operates on a scale of
1 to 20.
1 to 20, generally speaking. And they say, right? They make it real clear. 10 is 99% of the populace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sure, maybe some of them will have like a 9 or even a 7 in some stats, but most people are going to be sitting at around 10 on everything, right? Bog average.
Yeah.
But then you get these fucking light novels that are like, hey, this guy has
7,393. It's like, wow, that's 7,393 units of strength that don't mean anything to me.
That I have no idea what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Wuxia.
Would it?
Yeah. I mean,
Wuxia,
literally
Chinese.
just, but it literally just takes, Wuxia just literally takes If there's ever stats in Wuxia, because sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
arbitrary.
I've seen
alter
some.
hand wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just when they do the stats, they just take from the gamer trope that Japan already created. Like,
Yeah.
that's why the stats don't mean anything when they do that in Wuxia, because they took from a setting that already doesn't have stats mean anything. Like, the only time stats ever mean anything in any of the gamer tropes that Japan has published, it's like, oh no, his strength score is higher than mine. That means he's stronger than me at an arbitrary rate. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess that's useful to us. Thanks for letting us know that this person is arbitrarily stronger than this person because their numbers are higher. So instead of like showing that by having them be muscular or having them, you know, whip around a big ass sword or do anything that usually indicates strength, their numbers just really high.
Yeah.
My number's bigger than your number. Suck my number.
And then it doesn't matter in the end because the MC wins anyway because they come up with some way to.
They have the big brain.
Yeah, they come up with some way to ignore the fact that their stats are lower, and they win anyway. And it's just like, wow, cool, riveting. So what's the whole point of telling us that the stats were higher? Oh, there was none besides to just let us know that he's beating up someone who's supposedly stronger than him.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically it's to create tension, except the tension is literally fucking paper thin.
Yeah.
Like, if there was an attempt and you failed.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, it's pretty fucking garbage. This is the most popular story in the PJO section.
Yeah. That is so
So-
unfortunate.
In line with PJM. This is the first story
Oh,
we're doing
no.
tonight.
God damn
This
it.
is going to make me upset, isn't it?
Devil May Cry Percy Jackson.
God damn you.
Indeed.
Devil May Cry Olympus Lightning Thief. A very original name, I assure everyone here. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars.
You stop
Among the
disgracing
stars.
that fucking song.
The singular
You
star,
right,
yes.
right fucking now, you motherfucker.
What?
Stop disgracing that song.
I know, right? Don't worry, they stop. Brace through my father love like the mother.
What?
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 What is this?
Hang up the fuck. What?
Brace through my father love like the mother.
Is that?
Is that even
Black
English?
night, dark night, the devil cries.
Does that
What?
count as an Oedipus complex?
Maybe?
I have no idea. Twins born of man, demon, and god. 3 parents? Shall awaken.
Rather impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, what are the logistics of that?
Twins born of man, demon, and god, shall they
Haha,
awaken to
go
make
really
angels
fast.
scream and devil cry, or shall they fail their duty and fall in battle? Devil never cry and angels never scream, so what about Olympians? Let's hit the jackpots and climax.
Let's not.
There's just so
I don't care that you're quoting the game. I'd like you to never speak
There
again.
is just so much going on in this summary that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, what the actual fuck did I just read?
There are a lot of words here,
Wow.
and they don't make sense.
I read a lot of words.
Author's
Possible.
note.
I'd like to stop reading those words.
This is an AU to my Percy Jackson fic with Devil May Cry. So
Oh, no.
let's begin the story. Wait,
It's
what do you
fake.
mean? Wait,
Fake of a fake.
this is an AU of another one of his Oh no. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
have copy pasta
Oh lord,
Oh.
he has a lot of stories actually. That's unfortunate.
though. Oh.
151 stories.
Oh no. Wow. I'm not okay with this. I was gonna look up to try and find what the AU of the story is, but
I'll take a look.
I don't think I want to read those titles. I think if I try and even like read those titles, I'm going to lose sanity points that I don't have.
Bro, dude, like every time I'm on this podcast, my mental like the music that's playing in my mind is literally the fucking everywhere at the end of time. Like this is actually just playing in my head.
So,
It's a burning memory.
the author starts off the story by misspelling Temenina Gru, whatever the hell it was called.
Oh,
They
yes,
called it
Temen Negru.
Temen Negru.
Alright,
That's...
that's
You're
suspiciously close.
dangerously close to some special words there, author.
Ah, yeah. Artemis was on her hands and knees. I really don't like where this story is going already.
Oh, I think it has a
Crying.
sequel as well.
There's a sequel?
What do you mean?
Actually, no, it's just another DMC PJO crossover.
Okay.
Wait, hang on.
Jeez.
Start World War II? What?
What? She, the goddess of the hunt, childbirth, and the wild, was weeping as she looked down upon the weapon she had just earned from herself.
This grammar hurts
What?
me.
Alright, so this guy actually has like 4 fucking DMC PGO crossovers, and I'm not about to try to make like a comprehensive connection here.
Okay.
Uh,
She came here to free her hunters from demons who abducted them for food and other things, and she felt weaker than any time before.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, I'm gonna go find something to eat for dinner while you guys puzzle over this nonsense.
Fuck you.
No, you don't get to leave!
You get to stay here. Stay here and suffer. It's part of the contract.
You know you can't reasonably stop me.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, Max, you signed a deal with the devil, the sneaky devil.
You did
I was
take
gonna
the
say, one
devil's
might
money,
even say
though.
a sneaky devil.
Exactly. That wasn't the joke.
Yes.
Well, I'm still gonna go find something to eat though.
Ah,
I'm
fuck
fucking
you.
hungry.
Fair enough.
I'm docking your pay.
If you want, I can swap to the wireless headset so I can at least hear it.
Go for it. She was forced to face the weight of her own sins, and she may be a goddess, but she was a shit job at it. Okay, narrative.
Alright then.
That seems a bit rude, narrative. I'll be honest.
She failed to protect her hunters from the demons and the actions of her own father, Zeus, if Callisto was anything to go by. That's not a sin. Failing to protect people is not a sin.
God
That's-
damn it.
Okay.
I just read something. He
Yeah.
has a story called Garo Wayward Winds, and I read that as Gayward Winds.
I'm just saying, it's possible.
Yeah. Also,
How
I
many
think
times was she forced to look the other way when her own
Yeah.
father harmed her huntresses? Well, she was never forced, actually. Even in canon. But, this is an AU, where Artemis is a victim.
yeah, I found the chronology because
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate myself.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently this one is an AU to Divine Devil of the Hunt, I believe, which is the most recent one I linked in Discord.
What?
Yeah, it's
Devil of the Hunt. Born
Don't
of the
fucking-
moon and of hell, out of vengeful spite, a demigod was born to hunt, born to fire. They really are trying to do this whole rhyming thing, aren't they?
yeah.
Born.
DMC never had a rhyme scheme going, so I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Born to kill, armed with years of training and a rather snarky attitude, this young man will either be what his ancestors were, a legend Dark Knight, or the destruction of the world, its Dark Slayer. Born in vengeance, yet forged in hope, this new legend Dark Knight. Hey guys, I got a new fic. Fortunately, you do. It's a Percy Jackson Olympian crossover. It takes place post Last Olympian, and it's a crossover. No
Oh my
shit.
God.
Now I know what you're
Gillis,
thinking.
we never could have discerned this.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Is the next words out of your mouth going to be, this story is garbage? Oh, it's a Gary Stu character. Ah, that's the second words out of my mouth. But just hear me out. This is just a self-insert OC Devil May Cry Percy Jackson story in which the main character inherits a shit ton of power. It's not a Gary Stu.
I mean, it's damn.
Isn't that
Oh my
technically
God.
the definition of what a Gary Stu is?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oh my god.
If this person could read or, turn on the internet, they'd be very offended at what you just said.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good
What
thing
the
for us is that
fuck?
they have not been able to figure out what the internet is.
What the fuck are these crossovers this guy's writing?
Absolute garbage.
Hang on, alright, so consider the following.
Yeah.
PJO Warframe.
Why?
Thundercats DXD.
Why?
Oh,
No.
can we just let Thundercats die the peaceful death it deserves?
Familiar of
Really?
Zero and
It's
Warframe.
not that good. Like, look, honestly, it's not that good. Just let it die.
Yeah.
It was okay. Look, we get it. It had awakened an entire generation of furries, and for that, there can be no forgiveness. But there's no reason to keep dragging it out into the street and flagellating it.
Yeah, I'm not furry, but Lola Bunny though.
Oh God. Oh my God. Seriously? He-Man and Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay, that
Okay,
one's
but
kinda
hold
funny.
on a minute, I kinda like to
that's kind of funny.
You know what? I can see that working. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is
I
He-Man at
guess.
least the hero of the sword?
I mean, do you want me to open it?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I will say there's some comedy value present in making He-Man the hero of the shield,
Fuck.
right?
This author's note. I don't care for new Spider-Man. I don't care if the guy who played Black Panther died. I don't care about movies. I don't care about Black Widow. Call me racist or sexist if you must, but I simply don't care for celebrities.
What?
Based?
Kind of based.
I mean,
but-
okay, look, but like those were at least decent. Well, okay, let me phrase that. Black Panther and Spider-Man are good movies.
Black Panther was
Literally
very
don't care.
based. I wholeheartedly endorse all of the politics said in that movie.
Oh my God, this is actually.
Time to build the wall,
no.
gentlemen.
Oh no. Oh my God. Okay, you might actually wanna.
Oh no.
No. What is this? It's a
Okay.
fucking double isekai. Oh,
Sorcerer's
no.
Castle Grayskull has summoned. Why? We said the words. This could be good. This could be funny. This could be humor.
No.
You know what does he do? He goes and does the opposite of everything that could have possibly been good about this crossover.
Like, you either could have left him as the sword hero, and boy, wouldn't it have been interesting watching him trying to power up with literally no concept of a level system or a video game.
I have the power! Max level achieved.
Oh my
By
God.
the power of Grayskull! level 99999.
Boom.
What? What? What?
Sneaky.
You know what? No, you know what? Okay, listen. I think that'd be great. The shield hero's just like, by the power of Grayskull. Oh, where'd my clothes go?
No, just seriously though, like he's like, what happened to my sword? You know, bring that sword back by the power of Grayskull. All of his clothes rip off in front of everyone because it's not a normal transformation anymore. Now it's like some sort of hijack shit. He's level 99 in every stat now besides Int and Wiz.
Oops.
No, he just stares at it. Huh. So this is how girls feel wearing bikini armor with high stats.
Right.
Yeah, there's apparently a character literally called Cringer in this story, which I think is
Cringer?
very apt. Cringer, yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I can't tell if the man's poking fun at himself or not. He's probably not self-aware enough for that,
Thus,
though.
to save the
Seriously.
world from the waves of catastrophe, the sorceress has summoned heroes of her own to inherit the power of the elders and defend the world in the honor of Grayskull. Now, the strongest man in the universe and the Princess of Power have been chosen as He-Man and She-Ra. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I'm having like an allergic reaction to this because my right eye is fucking dying.
That's fair enough. You know,
Christ.
you
I'm
get
gonna
to a
take
certain
some.
point and you're just like, do I really want to keep living if this is what I have to put up with?
Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, it's two
Yeah.
original
Yep.
characters that
Seed Break,
as-
Orlando, Florida.
yeah,
Something
it's-
you never want to read.
Yeah. That's fair enough, yeah.
That's
Damn.
like.
I'm gonna go write
How?
a scrap after this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go
Sure.
add another to the scrap pile of what happens when He-Man enters Shield Hero.
Sure. Do it right. Yeah, like if you ever ask yourself like how low can a story go, just add the line "Scene break, Orlando, Florida,"
Scene
and it's
break
lower.
Orlando, Florida. Oh Jesus! Oh God! This is just so cringe.
Ah.
This is.
You are welcome.
But remember, devils never cry. Dante told Artemis.
Ah.
Ah. And angels never scream. Artemis added.
That,
Scene break 1 year later. What?
Ah.
Based on the way that,
Yeah,
based on what happens when you stab Virgil, angels do in fact scream quite a bit. They get very upset about it.
He's the storm that's approaching.
provoking black clouds of isolation.
Matt, no, I don't know if Max sent you this, but Max sent me this. Sent me a little meme. It says, unfortunately, due to personal reasons. Ah!
What? You cut out?
No, that's the point.
No, you did.
I know, that's the point.
Oh,
Yes.
fair enough.
That's my current mood. There, I've linked it.
Unfortunately, due to personal reasons.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that about summarizes what is going on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. Why is Artemis singing "Fly Me to the Moon"? Not like this.
Yeah, Artemis is currently singing "Fly Me to the Boonies."
Fly me to the boon.
Thank you, brain.
I mean, listen, it's Artemis. Shouldn't she be singing "Fly Me to the Poon"?
God damn it.
No, because she's taking Dante D.
The big D.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure Dante's willing to introduce some poon to that situation.
That's fair enough.
I
and-
mean, okay, hold on.
yeah,
Real talk.
yeah.
Real talk. If anyone believes that there is not just massive orgies going on all the time at Dante's place, they have not understood Dante's character or what Trish and Lady signed up for.
That's fair enough as well. I would
True.
also like to point out that apparently Dante and Artemis are currently in a relationship, and they've given birth to twins, which are going to be the main characters of the story. That are probably going to be self-insert OCs.
Yeah.
So yeah, this first chapter is literally a song fic. It's all cringe. Wow, this is a really long chapter, and it's cringe. And then the author finishes off the story with, "Here we go, chapter 1 of this new fic. Well then, I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time, Johnny." Anyway, this is both an renew and a reboot of my other fic, since I lost all my copies. Luckily, I have replacements. Now, then, remember to review
Unfortunately.
and John A.
Yeah, it's been cool and all, but I'm about to head out.
Unfortunately, due to personal health reasons.
Due to personal reasons, I will be passing away.
I'm going to suddenly, inexplicably contract severe internet problems.
Oh, here, this should be cringe.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Sneaky.
Dr. Bonesaw, a Worm My Hero Academia story.
I don't.
Is it even worth it anymore, boys?
Yes. One normally wishes to see their favorite fiction during the time of canon. Not really.
No. Actually, no.
Nah, no, just.
I mean,
I
depends
can't
entirely
think
on what
of
your
a
favorite thing is.
Mm.
But yeah, no. I mean, I can think of some, but like, those are just like current day narratives. So it doesn't really change anything.
I mean, I wouldn't call them favorites. I'm gonna say I know of some fictions that I wouldn't mind ending up in, but that's mostly because they're, by the large, harmless.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think if you ever went up to someone and was like, "Hey, if you got transported into the middle of canon of your favorite story, would you?" Most people would be like, first, probably be like, "Well, do I have any powers?" No, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You're in the Devil May Cry universe. Am I a half devil?
No.
Am I like a quarter devil? No. Can I leave?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be in Ruby. Oh god.
No.
Um.
Okay, now hold on, Sneaky. At
Okay,
least
you know-
Ruby has functioning toilets.
Yeah, it's true. But
Yeah.
okay, you know what? Fair. You know what? I'll give the Ruby fandom this. Most of them would say yes.
Yeah, but Sneaky, have you considered if you walk up to someone on the street and ask them what their favorite fictional story is, and they answer Ruby, like, you're legally obligated to shoot them in the head?
I don't think that legal obligation carries into the U.S., but that's pretty base that Norway has it.
I mean, you gotta make a difference then.
Yeah.
Like grassroots campaign
I'll
start
go
somewhere.
run for mayor, and I'll work my
Yeah.
way up, and I'll get the executive order instated that you're supposed to shoot reflex.
Godspeed.
But yeah, I don't really think I don't think there's a lot going on there, you know. The fans had
Yeah.
so Ruby gets
True.
a pass because the
True.
fans are dumb enough to say yes to it, but I wouldn't want to be in Warhammer. I wouldn't want to be in StarCraft. I wouldn't want to be in DxD or Sword Art
Yeah.
Online or pretty much any of these modern
I mean,
contemporary fan fictions.
maybe Pokemon. Even that's kind of like.
Yeah, but you got like a 1 in 3 chance of ending up in manga Pokemon.
True.
Now, if you're saying like if you can guarantee that you end up in the universe you prefer, so like Pokemon the anime or the game.
Yeah. Anime.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the games are still pretty fucking brutal. It's like, oh yeah, go stop Cyrus from ending the world.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I mean, like if you're just like some average Joe living out in the bushes or whatever the fuck, or in fuck bum town anywhere, like you're not gonna be involved in the main plot anyway. So
Yeah,
live or die.
This is true.
Whatever.
This is true. However, it does stipulate during the time of canon.
Yeah, but like
And
I mean,
in Pokemon, pretty much all of the big events of canon, kind of were globe-spanning, world-ending sort of stuff.
yeah, but they end up solving themselves. Or some 10-year-old solves them.
That's true. That's
So-
also true. Yeah, honestly, you would be fairly safe in the Pokemon.
I mean, like if the events play out as they've done in canon,
yeah.
then you're completely fine. Not an issue.
That's true. That's true. However, it is, there's other stipulations in there of is it still going to be canon if you enter into it? Is there's all the canon?
Yeah, of course, butterfly effect and all that,
Yeah.
but like, that's just like becomes a bit too much speculation because like,
that's fair enough. I still wouldn't want to be in Frostpunk. I wouldn't want to be in Mass Effect.
no, Stellaris. I mean, Stellaris maybe. But it doesn't really have a canon,
Usually has
so-
a galaxy-spanning end times, so
Yeah, but I mean, like, what you're a human, just like start life at the beginning of the game, and you'll be dead long before the crisis ever appears.
that's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. So anyway,
Some entity just shows up. You take the deal on Arn's presupposition. The first time you die, get ready for round 2. Wait.
So you-
Wait.
you wake up. I died. Why did I wake up?
Human, you have to stop the crisis.
Congratulations, human! You're now part of the necrophages. No. I didn't get that luxury, nor did I want it. I wanted something spicy! But fixing up all for one might have been a stupid idea. No shit. Like, actually, no shit. Like, you have to be actually brain dead to end up in My Hero Academia with a superpower that lets you heal people and go, I want something spicy to happen. Let me heal the unkillable villain.
I don't see a problem.
You have to be so beyond stupid that they have to create a new classification to properly define how fucking dumb you are.
I will say, it's not a great look.
Blah, 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 blah. How did you become blah, 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 blah? Questions the most typical people ask. Me, I didn't have those questions. I didn't have the time for such questions, because when I entered this world with an age-regressed body upon a battlefield I had no recognition of, I saw All for One wounded deeply and All Might dying without anyone to help him. Wearing a lab coat like some badass wannabe, I stood up.
Oh, you're definitely a wannabe.
I stood over All Might as he tried to breathe. Tried being the key word here, because all he did was gurgle blood in his lungs and stomach. I didn't see the symbol of peace everyone else saw. I saw the man who would struggle to keep his title aloft with nothing but his willpower. I was disgusted and horrified. Why would you be disgusted?
I was disgusted. He literally got himself almost killed to protect innocent people. Why would you be disgusted?
Like, the dude lost, what's the canon? Like 80% of his stomach and one lung?
Something like that, I think.
And proceeded to be a hero still for another, like, 5 years? Before finally meeting Izuku and passing on his power, and then still was a hero after that, and still managed to force himself into his All Might state for even longer? Despite not having the quirk anymore, only through sheer fucking willpower? And you're disgusted by this dude?
Listen, if there was ever anyone who was issued with, standard pattern adamantium balls, it was in fact All Might.
Like, and not on top of all of that, he doesn't do it for money, he doesn't do it for fame, he does it to save people.
He's not a
Say
piece
what
of
you will.
shit.
Be a piece of shit as you will. But you still have to respect that.
Yeah.
Being horrified was enough. All Might was dying. Being disgusted was something that came from my own bias. I saw All Might and knew that he and his cohorts would hide his injuries. Yes. He hid his injuries so he could keep being the symbol of peace while he looked for his successor, so he could properly keep the society stabilized and save as many people as possible by just merely being there. When you reach a level of symbology that people don't want to commit crimes just in case you're there, and you don't have to do anything anymore, it's just like, I heard All Might was going to be in the remote area of this city for the next week. I'm just not going to commit crimes now for the next week at least. Like, and you're like, oh, I can't believe this guy would go out and save people despite being injured. Man, I hate veterans, says the author. Like, that's literally what the author is saying. Like, I can't believe this guy would go out and save people, and in the process of that, get injured, and then would dare go out and save more people. How
What
dare
a
he?
dirtbag!
What a piece of scum going out there and saving people despite being brutally injured. Why wasn't he more selfish? What?
It's like, okay there, Cupcake.
What kind of lefty ass shit is this?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, not even lefties that stupid, Sneaky.
All Might, instead of doing the logical thing when such a decision was necessary, would go out and be a hero. Yeah, it's because he wasn't going out and being a hero for greed or pride or wrath or any of the other sins. He was going out because he was virtuous and upheld civilization and, you know, like, like, look, I have a lot of problems with All Might's character depiction and some of his actions and My Hero Academia in general. What I'm not going to insult is how the author portrayed a quote-unquote true hero as one who self-sacrifices for the betterment of others. Because, you know, why would I insult that?
This may surprise some people, but like, sacrificing yourself to help other people, pretty universally espoused.
Positive trait, yes.
Don't really know of anyone who's gonna stand up there and say, you know, that whole heroism thing.
I know some people that'll say heroism is sexist.
Well,
That's
yeah.
okay. I don't like those people anyway.
They can opt out from being saved. Let's see. You poor fucker, I muttered out loud as I walked over the rubble and debris of the ruined building where the battle must have taken place. It wasn't raining, though if it did, then it would have been perfectly thematically for the moment of the dying hero. Shonen? Ah, he's speaking Japanese. Can't understand Japanese for crap, idiot. Okay, look, All Might has his dumb moments, and yes, he's a lot more of a kinetic in general sort of person, not just learner, but not that dumb.
But
You
Sneaky,
would've,
you see, if
like-
the author doesn't make him brain dead,
You're in Japan, and someone dying looks at you and says words in Japanese, and you're like, ah, you fucking dumbass! Dude, I don't speak Japanese in Japan.
I mean, to be fair, there's a pretty high concentration of weebs that actually do that.
Yeah, they don't live there, though.
Yeah.
They try.
Hey, that dude, well, hold on. That one dude succeeded.
Yeah, true. He did it.
Which one dude?
Do you remember the classical I studied the blade dude that was like, I go around my neighborhood talking Japanese to people and people don't understand me, but that's okay because I'm superior because I'm learning, you know, Japanese and shit, and one day I'm gonna move to Japan and shit, and I wear a kimono everywhere and shit. That dude, that meme. Yeah, he made it to Japan. Also, he's got like a six-figure job and a girlfriend.
I think he's actually married.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
married now, yeah.
Alright. So he's the one.
He fucking did it.
The entire meme that is based off of him has been proven false by his own actions.
Yep.
What a Chad. Comes in, speaks Japanese, doesn't explain anything, walks out married. You know, he did that Sigma male grind set for so long.
Exactly.
It was a lie, but I felt more comfortable speaking English. So you do speak Japanese, so you're just being an asshole. Cool. And I
I
was
would
pretty
say
stressed from what I was about to
A
do.
significant asshole. Like,
Yeah. Nothing like diving headfirst into a new situation, eh? What? So I reached into my pockets and pulled out 2 scalpels. Why do you have scalpels in your pockets? Also, you are aware how sharp scalpels are, right?
that
All
is,
Might
generally
saw
speaking, not something one keeps in their pocket.
All Might saw them but didn't move. Probably because he didn't have the strength to move. 4 minutes before any help for you comes. 2 minutes before you pass out. Another 2 minutes before that you start to suffer the effects of hypoxic. That is, He asked me in fluent English, though stuttering because, he was dying and stuff. Damage to the brain caused by lack of oxygen supply. Oh. Aside. Ain't really giving you a choice here, but I'm going to be performing some surgery on you. Hopefully I can tinker something from your fat or whatever. I rummaged around the pockets looking for any painkillers, only found a bottle of water and
I'll be honest, for
Tylenol.
a second I thought it was gonna go into I rummaged around his stomach.
That's fair. That's actually fair.
Yeah.
So he took out some Tylenol and a bottle of water, and then he gave them to All Might. Yeah, that's gonna be very effective on the surgery you're about to perform. The open chest surgery that you were about to perform with 2 scalpels.
Here, bite down on this stick for me, buddy.
Yeah, honestly, you would be better off giving him a rock to bite down on than Tylenol. Tylenol is not going to help at this point in time. We have moved past the effective range of Tylenol.
We've moved past the effective range of Tylenol. There's a quote for you.
Swallow. He did. I washed my hands, crushed a pill, and sprinkled it over the biggest wound. Can't let you be infected.
That is not how Tylenol works.
You're crushing Tylenol over a wound to disinfect it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the earlier sentence, hopefully I can tinker something from your fat. I'm gonna assume they mean tinkering some anesthetic or whatever.
No.
But it's kind of hard.
So tinker from your fat, it's a worm story. He has Bonesaw's powers from worm. Bonesaw being the ultimate bio-tinker, which means she can take body parts and make them into other body parts with a sort of rustic hillbilly feel to it all.
Neat.
Yeah. Can't let you. He hissed out a little. Sorry, but you need to breathe for me until I'm done with this surgery, so I can't put you out of your misery. It's fine. And then I started stabbing him with my scalpels. Line break.
Oh no. Oi, mate, where's your knife license?
When Toshirino Yagi woke up, it was to the ceiling of a typical hospital. It was not a sight he thought he would after seeing Nana's death. He's awake. There was a rush of feet, and Yagi found himself surrounded by people looking over him from the rail and the edges of the hospital bed. He looked around. Good morning, he said hoarsely. You imbecile, Gran Torino grunted out. Aha, Yagi coughed weakly. Sorry for worrying you all, he looked around. Where is the boy who saved me? What boy, All Might? Sir Knight, I asked. Speaking up, there was no one else there. Yagi looked at them with a frown. The boy, the one who performed surgery on me. Everyone looked at each other before turning back to him. Where is All for One? Everyone looked around uneasily. Then Gran Torino finally answered. Gone. He was gone when we arrived. Jin! Welcome back, Jin.
No shit. I mean, why are you back?
Please come back. Where am I? In my cozy little space, someone replied in English. Slowly, Shigaraki pushed himself up and found that his eyes that...
Yeah, go on.
That his eyes that All Might punched out of him were still okay? Wait. Shigaraki, wait, hold on. Wasn't that the villain? Yeah. Wait, maybe it's Yoichi? The younger brother of All... Okay, so for some reason they're calling All for One by his last name instead of like literally anything less confusing.
Yeah, of course.
Slowly,
Why wouldn't
Shigaraki pushed himself up and found that the eyes blah blah blah. Are you my savior? He asked back in English. No, I am a fan of a true hero, happy to see that English still remains the lingua franca. The second statement was odd. Very odd.
I see. Then why am I here and not in prison? If you are All Might's fan, then the prison should be where I am waking up. There was a childish giggle. I said I'm a fan of a true hero, not All Might. Shigaraki snapped his face forward and saw a figure enter his field of vision. And all heroes need villains. That was a degrading statement. He wasn't someone's villain to be defeated. He was a ruined man now. Not completely ruined, but almost. Okay, so I'm going to assume that the author is saying that his self-insert is a fan of what Izuku ends up becoming, which is just what All Might was.
Kind of retarded, not gonna lie.
Honestly, Izuku's actually worse than All Might because he keeps breaking his body.
That's not a good idea.
Yes. Yes, it is. Not a good idea.
Yes, it is a good idea. Wait, hang on.
I just.
Yeah.
Who are you? The figure seemed to ponder on that with a childish hum. I am what I am, and I am here because of who I am. But now that I'm here, I'm unsure. You haven't answered my question yet, Shigaraki replied as he stood up. He saw, but his vision must be really blurry because all of his sensing quirks screamed at him. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. His infrared quirk saw a space twisted beyond recognition. His limited clairvoyance quirk saw only this twisted space of impossibilities despite the fact that the quirk in question had over a kilometer in range. His eyes, which he first thought were blurry, saw a single figure in perfect clarity, but the world around him was still blurry. I think my name is supposed to be Tenko, but I was Alan before that, the child said with a benevolent smile. But I think a simpler name will do. Call me Bonesaw. I think it's the title I'm going to change people's perspective on. No one ever looked at Bonesaw and said, anything involving a bone saw is good. No one in existence has ever looked at anything that required a bone saw and had a positive feeling about it.
I would say, no one's ever looked at the bone saw and been like, yeah, I'll let that near me.
This is okay. No. Said no one ever.
Yeah, also, how the fuck can an infrared quirk see a space twisted beyond recognition? That's not how infrared fucking works.
Well, true.
It is now.
You have to keep in mind this author is clinically retarded.
I mean, yeah, but like, isn't every author read retarded?
Yes, to an extent, but you have to keep in mind he's really retarded.
Pain. True, but pain.
Shigaraki was still cautious. This child in front of him wore no mask and stood casually, but there was an air about him that all of his senses rumbled against. I see. Will you be my ally then? Who else but I could give All Might the villain they need? Appealing to the boy's ideology like this wasn't the first time he had tried something. Nope. The child chose death then. Okay. Alright. You know what?
I mean, simple.
I'll give that to the author. Okay. I will give that to the author.
Efficient, if nothing else.
Will you help me? No. The child has chosen death.
Ah, so I see you've chosen death. Excellent.
A shame he couldn't be left alive. He was too powerful.
It's a response.
Yeah.
That was fast, but then why save me if you know who I am? Vandal pondered on that. Wait, why are you calling yourself Vandal now? You just said you were Bonesaw.
Now, I will say something. You know what I think could be a fun crossover? Vandal Savage ends up in My Hero Academia.
God damn it, underplayed.
Like,
Fair enough.
he would work great, especially because he could see what Shigaraki's doing and what All for One is doing, and be like, "You
God
fucking
damn it.
idiots! Let me show you how a multi-year plan works."
God damn it, underplayed.
Oh no! Oh, it's time to go look at chat. Oh no, we're all gonna
I
get
can't
shut
read
down.
that out loud. I actually can't read that out loud.
Yeah.
Twitch would actually ban me for that.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Twitch would
You-
ban me for it, though.
You gotta admit, underplayed has some singers.
Yeah, occasionally he's got something good.
I mean, quite often, honestly.
Seeing as how the boy was distracted, Shigaraki launched himself forward with a propulsion quirk, and his all-for-one shot out from his hand, making connection with the boy's chest, and nothing happened. The boy saw the quirk projection from him and frowned. That wasn't nice. The boy reeled a fist back, and Shigaraki moved
That
the gun.
wasn't nice.
As his senses screamed for him to do so, he jumped backwards, but he didn't move away despite feeling the winds ruffle his clothes. Question mark? Exclamation point? You must be really tired if this is the best you came up with all for one. Then the boy punched. The tiny fist struck with the same amount of force that All Might punched with, and Shigaraki screamed as he flew back and smashed into the wall that he couldn't see. He fell down to the bottom and groaned. You really are scum if the first thing you do after asking someone's name is to attack them. Especially more so since that someone just saved your ass. The child continued, but it was speaking an older version of English curse words. What do you mean older version of English curse words? Ass and fuck and scum and moron have been in our vernacular in America since like the 1600s.
It's been in vernacular in English for like 700 years. I believe like the first recorded usage of ass as a swear word was like in the 14 or 1300s.
I believe it. But
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
But it's like, oh, it's an older version of English swears. It's like, buddy, like, English has been around for like 600 years plus in its current form. To the point where the 200-year time skip then happens, I'm pretty sure a fifth of the time that English has been alive won't change English if 4/5 didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, there have been some additions.
Well, of course, obviously there's been additions and slang picked up and dropped, but swearing is swearing.
True.
Calling someone a punk-ass bitch remains an insult.
Yeah. Shigaraki
Even
stood
if they may not understand what I mean by punk-ass.
Fair enough. Why is he called Vandal now? Didn't he just say his name was Bonesaw? Yeah, the author's just going with Vandal from now on. Even... God, I hate authors that can't even remember the shit they just wrote.
Yeah. Was this written by Mume? Oh no.
You are scum and blah blah blah. Shigaraki said, "Are you like me?" He asked, genuinely curious despite the pain in the situation. You take and give quirks? It was the only explanation that fit, which would prevent his all-for-one from taking the child's quirk. Vandal snorted. No, I just have immunity to anything that might change how my power works. He replied, and you know what? I thought I could play with you a little, but you're clearly not up for it. Your typical villainous nature is making this boring. I thought you would be something more than this. Child says he gestured to him. It irked Shigaraki to hear disappointment directed at him from a child who couldn't know the things he just lost. All Might and his friends had worn down everything he had built over the last 3 decades. And this child, who knew nothing about the sweat of his allies and subordinates for a dreamland to call their own, blood spilled for the sake of growth, The hundreds of hours poured into plans spent building his organization look down on him. You are insignificant. Ugh, please don't fucking monologue. And what were you about to say after insignificant? After I just healed you and handed your ass to you? You know what? I'm leaving. Goodbye. I would expect the language in MHA to be more Firefly-like, with words from different languages merged to create something understandable. Well, true, you have to keep in mind that we actually don't know how the rest of the world turned out. All we know is that Japan fell during the whole Quirk Revolution thing.
Apparently some shit happened in America.
Yeah, some shit happened in America. America didn't collapse, though, like Japan did.
True,
Like,
true. I'm
Japan
just
had
saying,
a
we
full
know.
dissolution of all sovereignty.
Yeah, let me say, we know that stuff and things occurred in America.
Yes.
So either way, again, the other thing is that no one's flocking to Japan. Like that's the other part as with languages in My Hero Academia. No one flocked to Japan. There was no forced integration in Japan. In fact, people specifically left Japan, if they could, because you know the whole warlords era. So there would be no need to mash languages together like Firefly did, because there was no integration of all cultures. Because Japan is still just Japan, now even worse. And yes, the government in My Hero Academia Japan is actually a parody and a lambast of the current
What the
Japanese
fuck?
government.
Birdie actually showed up.
Oh shit!
Holy shit!
Birdie's actually here.
It's a fucking Christmas miracle.
I know, right? Christmas miracle indeed.
When was the last time Birdie was anywhere in the vicinity?
Last
a long
year.
time ago.
I think around last year.
Something like that.
So then then the main character decides to pop out like he's a mirage. Tenko or Bonesaw, I will have you learn what it means to irk me. So, Shimura Tenko? Who the fuck is Shimura Tenko? Is that Shimura... Is that Nana's kid? Right? I'm not crazy, right? I'm trying to scrape together my brain cells.
Yeah, that is.
Don't.
Yeah, it's Nana's
Yep.
kid. Yeah. It was here I made two decisions. The first had been to see All Might, and I'd been exactly in time to save that idiot. The second decision, I opened the door. And Mom, Dad, can we talk? The Shimura matriarch and the patriarch, disheveled and exhausted, both looked up from the dinner table and froze when they saw me wearing a lab coat. Holes in the shirt, Shigaraki punctured in an attempt to get my quirk. Perhaps most importantly, the blood. Though they didn't know it, perhaps because they didn't know it, the blood wasn't mine. Tenko, Shimura Jinsu, the kind blah 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 blah, squishy organs, blah blah. I had a body that was bulletproof. Apparently he already did surgery on himself at some point. Don't know how that happened, but he did.
They did surgery on a grave.
Yeah, apparently. Blah blah blah. Insertion into the universe, blah blah blah. It hadn't been downloaded into a growing child or something, or even born. Because as far as the world was concerned, Shimura Tenko had been missing for almost a year and had not triggered a bad quirk activation event as an emotionally unstable child. The only reason I knew this was because this fact, as well as all my states of being, had been made known to me upon arrival like an airport announcement only I could hear. Apparently we weren't privy to that. Cool. I'm home, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saving all for one, that was. I would never say it out loud, and I would kill Shigaraki if he ever said it out loud. This nation needed a true hero, but true heroes can only exist when they have a good enough rival.
That's kind of dumb. But
Yeah, look, I have a couple thousand soldiers, policemen, and firefighters that would like to have a quick chat with you, author.
Could I speak to you about an event called 9/11?
No, that actually kind of proves his point.
yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about the people who just went to the disaster. Like,
Yeah, that proves his point.
yeah. I mean, you know,
I
it was
guess.
committed
His
by some
point
people
is
you
that
could
people
probably
can
call
only be
villains.
truly heroic when they have a great enough disaster to be
That's
heroic
true.
towards. And my point is that there's plenty of people that are heroic without needing some great disaster to spur them to it. Just, pretty scummy. So that's what I'll say. Pretty scummy worldview you got for your main character. I hope it isn't yours. Post review. Alright, now we can move on.
Based.
Look at that, guys. We're fucking cooking.
Yeah.
So how do
Yay.
you guys feel about a Konosuba story?
I feel like death.
Yes.
I see. Fate Stay Night Demon Souls. I feel like we're gonna regret this, but let's go.
Yeah, this one's probably not worth it.
That sounds fucking awful. What the fuck?
Let's be real
Mark
here.
good
There weren't
post.
warlords in America because they would need to get a quirk that would need to make them bulletproof and explosion proof. This is a fair point.
Oh, I've read
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's actually decent.
Oh, you've read this?
Yes.
But why?
Probably because it's a Fate Stay Night story.
It was a Fate Stay Night story that, and I started reading way back when, and I first got into fanfiction.
So
Mm.
back in the
Followed it,
Lupine days.
I mean, published 2012. Yeesh.
The Lupine
Yes.
era.
The pain era.
Brought to you
actually-
by Zeeks.
Oh
It's
yes.
actually complete,
Excellent.
which is very strange for such thing.
A mind control quirk would allow a warlord to take over. Yes, yeah, that's true. However, it appears as far as My Hero Academia goes, any sort of mind influencing quirks are extremely rare. So rare to the point that All for One didn't have any.
Also, you can ask JFK, but I don't think a mind control quirk would help against the sniper.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, congratulations, you took over this little tiny town. You're currently being scoped from at least a mile away.
Yeah. Congratulations, you've conquered any town.
The local National
nowhere.
Guard is now currently saying dear grid coordinates.
There is an Apache helicopter hovering at 4 kilometers away. The Hellfire missile is inbound in 13, 12,
Yeah.
11, 10.
We have plenty of options to
There's
deal.
an M1 Abrams approaching your position. The government already knows your location.
Yeah.
Run!
The Tomahawk missile is currently inbound. Please wait for the beep.
The
Predator
Tomahawk
drone.
missile is rapidly approaching.
Run.
Yeah.
You cannot run.
Yeah, I'm not reading the previous message. Again, that's a Twitch banned word.
Yeah.
The Souls of Heroes by LD1449. There is never only one change. There is always many change. Because one thing will change another thing. It will affect something more. Ripples through time. Irrelevant to some, disastrous to others. There can never be only one change. There will always be consequences. You know exactly what the word that's banned is.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel, I am the bone of my sword.
Bone of your sword.
Yeah. Boner.
Alright, so we're just getting a full-on, completely AU chant from Shiro.
Yes and no. If I'm remembering it correctly, the former part of each thing is the demon souls, almost maiden. The latter
Oh.
is Shiro.
Yeah, the author didn't make that very clear, and so they look dumb.
No, he did.
Yeah.
To be fair, it
They
is
just look dumb.
2012.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter. What year you're writing doesn't really change the quality.
True.
I'm just saying, if you really wanted to separate them but make them look like connected still, one could be right-centered, the other one could be left-centered. You know, so it looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
He felt like retching the moment he woke up. His head was pounding as though that berserker was using it like a doormat. One thing could safely be said about Emiya Shiro. When he felt like doing something, he did it. He took only half a second to suck in a breath before he lurched himself onto his side. He dry heaved until he managed to reach his hands and knees. And there's semicolons in this fic, and I already hate it. Only then did he allow himself to fully retch up whatever he had for lunch. You really don't have that much control over how much you throw up. I hate to break this. As someone who is very experienced in puking, you really don't have control over how much you throw up. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Purple-green gunk splattered over stone. The smell was immediate, horrid, and overpowering. He reeled, pulling himself away before he retched again from the assault on his senses alone. He fell again, nearly flat on his back as he backpedaled. Okay, yeah, and finally had a moment to look at his surroundings. Single quote. Space. Period. Hell? Question mark. Single quote. Not sure what that was supposed to be. Maybe like what dot the dot hell, and then fanfiction.net deleted it all because it thought you were trying to write a website address, probably.
I mean, maybe.
That was Shiro's immediate and only thought as his eyes swept over the massive face of a castle. A castle? What the hell was he doing in front of a castle? Why was there a European Western style castle in Japan? Didn't the Eisenberns have one?
Yeah, they
Yes,
definitely
yeah,
had one.
Yeah.
I do believe that is the scene.
I mean, if he's aware enough to know that his face is getting munched in by a berserker, that he would obviously have probably at least gone to the part of the castle. I guess not.
Would he though? I think he encountered Berserker first before the castle.
The grass needs me. Goodbye, Gray.
Godspeed, Gray.
Later, Gray.
It was with some difficulty that the teenager was able to push down the quickly rising panic enough to actually look in around his immediate area. Honestly, I don't think I would panic if I woke up somewhere weird. Not for the reasons you think. It's like if I woke up like somewhere really weird and started like throwing up, I would have like no memory of what I was doing before that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The obvious assumption is that I drank a real lot. Because I don't throw up when I drink, so I would have had to have drunken some nasty ass alcohol to get to that point. Or
Fucking Pulling out the wood alcohol.
Yeah, literally wood alcohol levels of
Actual fucking poison.
what the fuck were you drinking? Yeah. But also because I really don't end up places when I'm drunk. Like when I'm drunk, I just go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, I
Same.
don't like go out and do things and wander around and like I don't like wake up on the floor or anything. I was like, all right, I'm drunk, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed now, and then I go to bed. Now, to be set, I don't always get into bed. Sometimes I'm just on top of the bed. Sometimes I still have my clothes on, but I at least make it to the bed.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes you only end up bed adjacent.
No, I've never ended up bed adjacent. I only fell asleep on the floor one time. And
Technically, one time is bed adjacent.
that was not because of alcohol. That was because I was up for like 70 something hours.
That sounds healthy.
And when I went up to get some food, because I was cooking ramen, I kind of just stopped functioning and then woke up on the floor a couple hours later.
Yes. That also sounds like a great idea.
And then I immediately called Max and was like, Max, I just woke up on the floor.
I think I remember that day actually.
Certified sneaky moment.
You said something along the lines of course you did, Sneaky.
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah, there's very little that Sneaky can do to surprise me at this point.
Max, I just robbed the bank. I need to hide the money. Where are you?
Not near you, that's for sure.
Razor Mind slamming in the background.
Disappointed Max voice.
Anyway, so, he sees Tosaka's eyes widen, her pupils dilate, and with that same lurching motion, she wakes up too and starts throwing up as well. Where are we? You're asking me. I appreciate the confidence, but I'm not omniscient, Zero. Where's Saber? Strange. Zero looked, shook his head and...
Saber is the reason you're both unconscious and throwing up. Try not to think about that too hard, Shiro.
Yeah, it's possible. She shouted something about whipping out her other Excalibur, and next thing you know, you're on the ground puking. Unrelated, I'm sure.
Kind of weird that happens, but alright.
Shiro shook his head, looked at the command seals, noticed they were still glowing. He sighed in relief. She's still alive. He noticed Rin wasn't moving. Rin! What's wrong? He was worried that she was going to throw up again, but the second he looked down at her, he saw what had driven her to stop. Her command seal was glowing too. That little crescent at the base of her hand where it met her wrist was glowing again, as bright as day. Archer. He heard her mutter, almost frightened at the possibility. He would have said something more, but was interrupted by the groaning and shuffling to his right. He and Rin both turned to look. The man was grotesque, skeletal thin. His skin was blotched with weeping sores and fresh scabs. From what looked to be self-inflicted wounds, he was dressed in blood-stained rags that couldn't even be called covering much of anything. Shiro narrowed his eyes, standing in front of the still wobbly Rin. Wobbly Win. He saw the starved man gripping a thin, long knife in a white-knuckled grip. The youth cursed, and after looking for a moment, he reached down and grabbed a long, thin stick. Why didn't he? I guess they're not at that point. Yeah, fine. I mean, if Archer's already gone, like they should be at the Unlimited Blade Works point, shouldn't they? Like whether it's the Fate route or the Unlimited Blade Works route.
No idea.
If I remember
Yes?
correctly, in this fic, or she still has Archer as a servant.
Yes, I know, but she's saying she's frightened by the possibility that Archer's still alive. Which means that they assumed Archer was dead, which means that they've gotten to a certain point in canon fate where Archer died, which is typically around the point that Shiro unlocks tracing. Just saying.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, stay back, I'd rather not hurt you. But as words, the man's eyes grew sharp, his breath quickened, and white foam oozed from his lips as he sprinted at them. Blah blah, sheer lunacy of the man, blah blah, mind was melted. Dagger meant for piercing, and he swung it like a club. Shiro didn't think, he swung his stick on reflex and struck the man's hand and wrist, and there was a crunch.
Yeah, swing your stick on reflex, Shiro. That's just what Sable wants.
Indeed. But Shiro and Rin's immense surprise, the man didn't stop. His weapon fell, but the crazed drag surged forward, regardless, grasping at Shiro's neck with his left hand. Shiro gasped, the sound choked as he backpacked. I'm sorry, I'm just pointing this out here again. So if someone ever runs at you with white foam coming out of their mouth, don't try and disarm them, go for the kill.
Yeah. 2 shots to the torso, 1 to the head. Mozambique drill.
There's a time and place for restraining yourself, but if someone's running at you with a knife while they're foaming at the mouth, the restraint was left on the other corner.
Yeah.
But anyway. The madman yelled more, pushing himself down with more force, his fumbling fingers losing their grip on Shiro's neck, leaving only fingernails scratching him. Bones shifting sickeningly beneath his fingers. It was a revolting sensation. Brutal hard blow to the back of the head. He was unconscious as Rin stood there, plank of splintered wood in hand. What the hell was wrong with him? He shouted. Don't know, but do you want to be here when he wakes up? They began to drag him behind her. They both froze. Across from them, formed of contrailing wisps of white, smoky flames, was a man clad from head to toe in steel armor. Could not see his face. All they saw was a gesture. His hand reached, beckoning them forward urgently. Then he turned and began to run across the bridge. Phantasmal presence once again beckoned them. Come on, and they ran after the phantasm.
Generally speaking, if
Yeah.
the spooky ghost says follow me, do not follow the spooky ghost.
Well, that's really dependent. If it's like a knight, I'm pretty sure the spooky ghost is a little bit trustworthy, just in general. However, as a person with not a lot of options, and you just got attacked by someone who apparently whips himself and is, in a sort of a crazed frenzy, if your options are drag this dude or follow the spooky ghost across the bridge, I'd actually probably follow the spooky ghost, because I don't really want to drag someone around. I don't really care either. Also, don't really have
Fair
any
enough, I
options.
guess.
If I wake up in a strange place and I get attacked by someone, I'd probably just be like, oh, fuck it. It's like I have a plan. It's not like you're in the middle of somewhere you don't know. You've just been attacked, and some ghost is telling you to follow them. Like, what else could be your plan at that point?
I mean, this is just me, right? I would still just ignore the ghost.
Fair enough, I suppose.
I'm sure you mean perfectly well, Mr. Ghost. Bye.
Anyway, it's the main character, I assume, Strava. I don't know if that's a main character or just a character in Demon Souls. But it's a guy from Demon Souls who's killing a shit ton of people, and he's got good armor and got a good weapon. And he's killing a bunch of people, and he's killing a bunch of people, and he's, obviously dregs and whatnot, but, you know what I mean. Killing people.
I did always love that. Watch me style on these dregs. Takes all the fun out when I call them by their real name.
So anyway, he sees Saber, and he goes, "Run! They'll kill you!" And she goes, "Nah, lol," and kills them all with her invisible sword. And he's like, "Wow, that was a really interesting way of killing people. That weapon that I can't see, but you are clearly holding because I just watched you beat people to death with it."
Magic exists in Demon Souls. Well, okay, I'm sorry.
I mean-
Soul Art.
Yes, I'm aware, and I'm saying that's why the guy is pretty blaze about the whole thing of like, all right, okay.
That's some magic bullshit you got there.
So yeah, he kills them. The Knight of Volterra regards the woman before him. Instantly, he knew, even covered in blood and grime, she was clearly the most beautiful woman he's ever laid her eyes on. Thank you for your timely aid, my lady. I am Ostrava of Volterra. It's no trouble. I must go. I must find my friends. Wait. Allow me to accompany you. I want to help you. So they do that.
I do want to say.
They're moving through Demon Souls. What's up?
I was gonna say. I do want to
Yeah.
say. Demon Souls has probably like boss for boss my
Yeah.
favorite sets of bosses. Like,
Oh no,
honestly,
definitely. I haven't never played it, but I've definitely watched the bosses, and I do like the bosses of Demon Souls. They're pretty good.
like the final, well, second to final boss of Demon Souls is a great fight. Like, I was like, oh, so this is where some of the cool stuff Gale got came from.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, and this isn't quite fair because obviously playing Demon Souls last is kind of like cheating because you already know all the tricks. But like, that was the first boss that genuinely like killed me a couple of times.
Fair enough. So anyway, we're now moving back to Shiro and Rin as they make their way through. Blah blah blah. Cast with friendly ghost. A crossbow quarrels tend to kill people. Might explain why he died. Shiro narrowed his eyes and he's like, "I have an idea." He got a wooden barricade. Blah blah blah. He's like, "Okay, well, I'll reinforce this wood. You shoot him with spells." And Ren was like, "Are you fucking dumb?" And she was like, "Trust me. Look, we can do this." And like, "Hold on, we're hearing something. Are those wings?" And then big ass dragon shows up, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck." And the dragon killed all the soldiers that were shooting at them. And Rin and Shiro are like, "Oh shit, that was an actual dragon that just killed all those people." Shit. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Shiro grabbed the blah blah blah, fire breath. So as they were running, they got caught up in the dragon's second breath wave, and Shiro jumps out in front of her, or whatever. And the fire, blah blah blah. They rescue her so she doesn't get fried by the fire. Ghost looks at them, swear the thing was smiling sadly. She wanted to say thank you. Pointed towards a lever, then the ghost faded away. Then the gate opened. That must be the main porkless. They're your friends, so they run over to the main porkless. And they're too late. Despite servant speeds that Saber was moving at, they were just too late to catch Shiro and Rin limping through the gate. Oh, but don't worry, they double backed because they heard sounds, and it turns out they all found each other now.
Hooray! Now they can all have their weird throuple or whatever.
So anyway, So they're all staring at the scary, ooky, spooky fog that is inexplicably in a doorway that everyone knows obviously means weird shit's going on here. And everyone's kind of debating whether they should go into the doorway or not. And then Rin says, "Fuck you all, I'm going in there," and marches through. Which, I'll leave that up to you if you think that's a Rin-like decision to make. They all realize that they're inside what effectively is the equivalent of a boundary field. Tar is on the walls, and there's enemies, and they fight the enemies, and there's 100 spearmen, and they all started throwing the spears at them, and look, honestly, it's written fine. But apparently the characters of Fate Stay Night are now in Demon Souls scattered around the map for whatever reason. And personally, I'm not very interested. I'm just throwing that out there. There's not a lot there to interest me.
Yeah.
It's okay, so I mean, fucking Saber's gonna be stronger than a majority of the people in Demon Souls. I don't know if this Night Dude OC that showed up is the chosen one or not. But I don't think it really matters because Demon Souls is kind of nebulous, its whole plot. Personally speaking, Fate Stay Night is a interesting property to cross over with because of how its magic system operates, in where the body generates some energy and the world generates some energy, and by combining the two you're capable of casting spells, and some people can train themselves to use the world's energy to cast spells, and some people can train themselves to use just their body's energy to cast spells. And so the people themselves do come along for the ride with a degree of magic generation inside them. But a world like Demon Souls doesn't actually have magic. It has soul arts, which are magics derived from the manipulation of energy derived from the soul, which is a little bit different.
By the way, the more you do it, the more it wakes up the literal demons.
Yes. But it's a little bit different from using just a energy that is in nature and in your body, just normally produced, and manipulating that to do spell stuff. A little bit different than manipulation of souls going on there. But the nature of the exact magics that Fate Stay Night uses and how their magic system is set up, not just with energy use but the spells themselves, makes it very hard to say whether they would work or not if you ended up in a different world. Going to go out on a limb and say no, they wouldn't work, or they wouldn't work as people would think they would work. Shiro's stuff tends to work because Shiro just summons swords and then stabs people with the swords, and that typically translates to wounds, which typically does in fact injure people.
People are injured.
Now I'm going to perform an ancient arcane ritual. It's called stabbing you in the goddamn throat.
And those swords themselves carry the concepts of their abilities with them. It's not like a world thing. because those abilities can be recorded in a soul, which Shiro does, and can be summoned from the soul, which Shiro does, and those abilities are retained. Which is different from normal magics, which is the reason why I say I don't think normal magics from Fate's Day Night would work in other stories, other worlds, is because specifically, like Venus has a guardian that shows up on Earth, and Earth magics don't work. Same for the moon and
Yeah.
all the other planets. Like, normal magics don't work well on non-Earth creatures because they don't follow the rules of Earth according to Fate's Day Night canon. And so any magics based on the rules of Earth wouldn't really work that great against creatures that don't follow those rules. So that could almost be said the same for spells being cast by people from Fate's Day Night on worlds that aren't Earth. But that's where it gets into the very big gray territory of most people just ignoring it and saying they do work, because you could say that the worlds in Fate's Day Night are what prevent other spells from working, and that those worlds aren't like the worlds in other stories. So therefore, if you're carrying, how Earth spells work with you, and you end up in, say, Rising of Shield Hero, and you cast the Gander spell, the Earth of that world isn't going to try and stop the Gander spell from working, and the creatures there aren't going to resist it because they don't have innate rules imposed upon them by the world they're on that would say, oh no, the Gander spell isn't native, so it wouldn't work. Unlike Fate's Day Night does. So, personally, I'm always pretty 50-50 on this, because people try to take either one or two extremes, where I see oftentimes, Fate's Day Night spells are just, like, somehow crazy effective, because Gaia isn't holding them back now or something, right? Or alternatively, everyone else is super magic resistant because of whatever that world's got going on, and the Fate's Day Night magic is significantly weaker for reasons. And I just never really see it properly explained to the audience why one or the other is occurring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With oftentimes just, oh yeah, they're stronger, it's just blasting people apart. No, never an explanation really given for why all of a sudden, XYZ is stronger. But it just is. So it's like, don't like it.
Kinda dumb.
Yeah. But it is what
Why is it stronger? It is deal.
So let's see what the rest of the others has to say about this story before I pass my full judgment on it. For those of you who play Demon Souls, do not mistake the liberties of taking and pacing of the amped up bosses or protagonists that they will be facing as mistakes. I've beaten Demon Souls multiple times before, and its sequel, Dark Souls. Well, there's your first problem. You're so fucking wrong on that one that I don't believe you've played either game now. For story purposes, things will be done in a certain order and way, and the bosses, which are already difficult or impossible for some people, will be given boosts to their skills now that they're no longer limited by gameplay mechanics. That is a fair enough position to take, as that's what Gray and I have gone with for our stories, and Max and I have gone with for our stories with Dark Souls especially. Now, that being said, kind of confused by his justifications on that part, where it's like, I'll be taking the bosses, which are already impossible for some people to defeat, and I'll be making them more realistic and harder. Like, what is the first part of anything to do with that? Like, why does it matter that some people can't beat the gameplay version of the boss? But apparently it's important to him. Those of you plan on reading the story, I will warn you now in advance. The first 10 chapters are very action-oriented. It's a Fate Stay Night Demon Souls crossover. Why the fuck wouldn't it be?
True.
There is very little character development. That's...
Unfortunate.
Action is the best time for character development. So... There's very little being done with the characters of Saber, Shiro, or Rin. Really? So Shiro's gonna hesitate on killing anyone for the first 10 chapters?
Excellent.
Rin's gonna use non-lethal, sick-causing spells for the first 10 chapters. She's never gonna use anything else? So they can be set up for later development? That's not how you do character development. There will be a lot of development later on revolving around Saber and Shiro, more than Rin. For those of you picking up the story and aren't familiar with Demon Souls, I've made this as friendly as possible to non-Demon Souls players. For anyone who's played Demon Souls but never watched Fate Stay Night, you may find yourself lost. Now that this has been more or less planned out, there'll be 5 Demon Souls realms, 30 bosses each, counting the final boss. Each location has an outline to go by. I'm working on picking up the Void again, blah blah blah, bi-weekly updates, blah blah blah. Yeah, so honestly, personally speaking, I don't like this story already. We started it, we finished it, we read the author's note to explain his thought process on some things, and I generally just don't like it. It's just really weird that he would make the declaration that no character development at all is going to happen for Shiro or Rin for the first 10 chapters, which, might I say, 38 chapters, 226k words. That puts about 19 chapters for 113k words. So what you're telling me is around for the first 50k words of your story, your characters are going to have absolutely no changes to them at all whatsoever.
Epic.
For the first half of your book, your heroes, your main characters, are not going to have any sort of character development. You are telling me this with your first chapter. Not in inferred words, but in a literal fucking author's note. You are sitting here and telling me that for the first half of the first book, there will be no character development.
Epic.
It's dumb as fucking hell, so I'm saying.
Yep.
So, this story could be good. Gray seemed to like it, but, he also read that back when he thought Horror was a good author.
Yeah,
as far as Spag goes, the Spag seemed more or less fine. As far as the pacing goes, that was actually fine. But as far as how the author's going to handle future plot progression, future character development, power balancing, and all of that stuff, I have no idea. I don't really like where this is going so far, where he's coming out in the author notes and he's going to say, I am buffing the shit out of the bosses. They're going to be super hard for the team to defeat. And it's like, super hard for Saber to defeat? Excalibur to be you? Okay. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, so it is what it is. It's 9 o'clock. It's time to go. But, I'll be back on Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, because, as you know, there's always more and it always gets worse.